All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Waharakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, Adutolan in his truth, and Shalom to the few Akwathim that listen and learn in silence. To all of you, I say Shalom. I'm the brother Pathak Amath from the GMS Dallas camp, and I'm just coming back at you with a really quick hit lesson. I'm going to entitle this one, Trump has a problem with the Smithsonian museums. You know what I'm saying? And he's on a mission to change things up. He says that the Smithsonian focuses too much on the negativity of slavery, and not enough on the I can't remember the word he used, but I'm gonna play the video, and I think he says it in there. But basically, the good of America, not enough on the good of America, and too much negativity on slavery. You know, he associates being woke, which you know who he's pointing that at. He associates being woke to being racist. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't want the focus to be on slavery and all the bad things of slavery. But the thing of it is, Mr. Trump, slavery was bad, man. Slavery was terrible. And forgive me, you know, just bear with me. I'm you know, my voice is kind of tripping, you know. I'm having some, you know, things going on. So it's like, you know, I'm just trying to get back into the flow of things. Been having some problems with my recorder, and you know, Satan just been in the mix heavy, man. But so bear with me with my voice. But yeah, this devil said he associates woke with being racist, man. You know, and they basically want to, at the end of the day, erase the history of slavery, is what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Which America was nothing good for the Israelites, man. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You know, it was nothing good for them. America it's been good to you Edomites. You know what I'm saying? But the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, it hasn't been good for us, man. This was a prison sentence, a punishment from the Lord for us. You know? So, Micah 2:10, you know what I'm saying? See, the Lord tells us it's not our rest, man. This is not our rest. It's y'all's rest. Y'all in y'all's kingdom. You know? That's why y'all had the golden era and all of that, man. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have that. You know, that wasn't for us. That was for y'all, man. You know? And slavery happened, and slavery was bad. It was terrible, man. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just sweep these things under the rug, man. You know what I'm saying? And hoping that it'll go away. You can try to change up whatever you want to change up. You can put out your little orders and all that, and try to change things up, you know, and everything, you know, and focus on the you know, the so-called good of America and all that. It's not going to change the fate, though. It's not going to change what's coming, though, man. You devils have to pay for the things that you've done, you know. So, you know, without any further ado, I don't want to get into too much of a rant. You know, these devils they deserve what's coming to them, man. You know what I'm saying? And this devil right here, man, you know, yeah, he is, boy, he gonna get it, man. But anyway, you know, without any further ado, I'm gonna play this video real quick. You know, going into the whole thing of him wanting to change things up at the Smithsonian, you know, and then we'll get some scriptures, man, because they gonna get it, man. You know, you're gonna pay for that, man. You can't just cover it up, can't just sweep it under the rug, you can't just throw it behind you. And if you try to do those things, it's still coming back to bite you in your ass at the end of the day. So without any further ado, let's play this video.
President Trump says he has instructed his lawyers to scour through America's museums to rid them of exhibits he considers woke, specifically citing exhibits on slavery. President Trump targeted the Smithsonian museums, saying they are, quote, out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Back in March, the president signed an executive
all truths, all truths, you know. Bro, what can you do about that? It's just truth, you know. And he calls it woke, which he associates to racism. You know, that's called the prophets out here, and people are starting to wake up. They're starting to realize the reality of the situation, man. You know what I'm saying?
Order directing the Smithsonian Institution, which runs more than 20 museums in Washington and elsewhere, to, quote, celebrate American exceptionalism and remove divisive or partisan narratives. Last month, the Smithsonian removed references to Trump in an exhibit on presidential impeachments in the Museum of American History. Mentions of Trump's impeachments were later restored, although with changes. Now he's complaining about exhibits on slavery. Although during his first term, he visited the Museum of African American History and Culture, which tells the story of slavery and celebrates African American accomplishments, and he called it a, quote, truly great museum done with love. It's not clear whether...
And that proves how wicked they are, man. These devils they're devils, man. They're wicked, they're liars. You know what I'm saying? And they don't have no love for you Jakes, man. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native American, man. You got to come out of the dark, man. You know what I'm saying?
President Trump actually has the authority to tell any museum, including the museums of the Smithsonian Institution, what to put on display. The American Alliance of Museums, which represents museums across the country, says that no president has the power to impose the kind of review that Trump says he is now ordering. The organization has warned that the president's actions represent a, quote, growing threat of censorship against museums in America. President Trump's...
I got a little involved with museums, you know, because I had a little problem with the Smithsonian. We like a little more positivity. It was all about all the bad things in our country. I said, what about the good things we've done? So I got a little involved. With that. And they're making, honestly, they're making changes. You know, they were also told what to do by people that came before me, in all fairness, but they're making changes. Big changes are being made at the Smithsonian. I got a little...
All devils, man. You know, everybody that was clapping and the ones that he's talking about before him, all Edomites, all devils, man. So, you know, again, you know, they want to try to get rid of slavery like it didn't happen and get people to focus on the so-called good of America, the good things of America, man. You know, bro, all you did was hijacked all the inventions created by Jake, man, and took them on for yourself like you did it. You know what I'm saying? So the majority of the good, and there's a video where he's kind of going through that. I don't know where it is, or else I would have featured it, where he's going on about all these things that America did, which they're all Jake did all of those things, man. You know what I'm saying? So you can't take credit for any of it, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but these devils, he's taking credit like they did something. The so-called whites, man, the Edomites, you know. But it is what it is. But at the end of the day, they're trying to do these things. They're trying to get rid of the memory, you know, of slavery and try to just get people to focus on so-called good of America, you know, because at the end of the day, we're in the times of that shameful spewing upon their glory, because they used to be proud of that history, man. You know what I'm saying? But now we're in a time, because the prophets are out here, you know, the mouthpieces of the Lord, and we're bringing all these things out and pulling things out, man. You know, this dude is under inquisition right now. You know what I'm saying? And everybody is starting to pay attention and wake up. You know, like I said, he said woke. He associates that to racism, because people are starting to wake up and they're starting to see these devils for who they really are and see the things that they've done, you know. And people are, especially Jake, is starting to have a problem with these things, man. So let's get some scriptures. That's, at the end of the day, that's just part of that shameful spewing on their glory. And these devils are going to pay for everything they've done, man. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 16. And it reads, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered." Yeah, man, we're in the time of everything being exposed, man. Isaiah the 47th chapter goes into that. Make bare the leg, uncover the locks. You know what I'm saying? We're in a time of exposure, you know. the scriptures also go into the revealing of these devils, man. There's a revealing happening on both sides, the left and the right. You know, the revealing of our Lord and Savior Yahushua, who was covered up by these devils. You know, that's why we had that false image of Cesare Borgia in the earth, you know, and that fake ass name, Jebus, you know. Now the real names and the real images are back in the earth of the people. You know, you got those fakes in the land, you know. All of these things, man, that being revealed in these times. And there's a revealing on the left with these devils, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, the elephant in the room is finally being pointed out. You know, the scriptures say that Satan had transformed himself into an angel of light, and no one ever looked at these devils, man. No one ever, you know, accused them or felt like they were to blame for anything, man. You know, and one of the reasons is because they call themselves white, you know, and they called us black, you know, which is a social construct, you know, not reality, man. There are no white people on the earth. There are no black people on the earth. The two color schemes, according to the Bible, are brown and red. The majority of the people are brown, you know. Everybody is brown except for these devils. And they're red because their melanin got taken from them during the time of Cain, man. You know what I'm saying? From the very beginning in the garden, you know. And you know, he got that mark put on him when he killed his brother Cain, you know, and got cast out of the garden, you know. And he feared for his life, you know, because he looked different. And the Lord put a hedge of protection around him that's still on these devils to this very day, which the Lord is about to lift that hedge, and they're going to be totally, you know, exposed to total danger, you know. And the Lord is going to about to touch these people, man. But Habakkuk 2:16, thou art filled with shame for glory, drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's right hand, shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And that cup is turned, that right hand is turned on these devils, man. That's why they're being exposed in these times. We're in the time of these devils being exposed, man. You know, that's the right hand of the Lord at work, man, which represents Yahweh Shai, man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that shameful spewing on their glory, and that shameful glory is why they want to cover these things up now, man. You know, they're ashamed of their history, which at one time they were proud of that history. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, at the end of the day, they're going to pay, you know. And I wasn't trying to rhyme, but no pun intended. This is Romans chapter 13. We'll keep it going. Romans chapter 13 and verse 10, because, yeah, they gotta pay, man. Because at the end of the day, Romans 13 and 10, love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law, man. You know what I'm saying? And these people are lawless. You know, they're outside of the covenant of the Lord, man. You know, that's why they take no heed to the laws. You know what I'm saying? They're contrary to the Lord. They're the wicked, you know, and they can't change. You know, can an Ethiopian change his skin or leopard his spots? No, man. So can they who are accustomed to doing evil then do good, roughly paraphrasing? No, they can't, man. They are who the Lord made them. And he made them the wicked, man. He made them liars. He created them that way. They're the vessels of dishonor fitted to wrath and destruction at the end of the day, you know. And that's what they have coming to them, destruction, man. You know, you cannot make straight what the Lord made crooked, man. Scriptures go into all of these things, man. So love, Romans 13 and 10, love, because they always claim they love. Well, I love you. I love you. I love you. You know, that come on, bro. They'll tell you they love you so fast, it'll make your head blow off. But check it. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. So if they loved us, they wouldn't have done any ill towards us. And that's all they do. 24/7, all day, every day. Their mission is to do ill will towards Jake, man. You know, like the scriptures say, they sit upon their beds. Micah, the 2nd chapter, they sit upon their bed trying to think of and devise plans to jack Jake up. And they can't sleep until they do so. You know, I believe Proverbs, the 4th chapter, goes into that as well, man. You know, so, hey, don't fall for the okie doke. Jake, it's time to wake up, bro, and which we already know. Only the elect and 1/3 is going to get it in this time, you know. So, but yeah, they're going to pay for these things. So let's go to Colossians real quick. Colossians, Colossians, the 3rd chapter, I believe. Yeah, 3 and 25. That's right. Colossians 3 at the bottom. Last verse, Colossians 3:25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of persons. Yeah, man, you did a wrong to the people of the Lord, man, his chosen nation, the apple of his eye. You touched them, you put your hands on them. So now you got to, like the scripture here says, you got to receive for that wrong. Colossians 3 and verse 25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of person. So the Lord don't give a damn, bro. You're going to pay. You do wrong, you're going to receive for that wrong you've done. No matter who it is. We did wrong. We wronged the Lord, and the Lord put his hands on us. He touched us. He allowed you devils to have access to us, to be able to put your hands on us and pretty much do whatever the hell you wanted to do. You know, and that's why y'all believe in that manifest destiny, man, which what you didn't take into account, that manifest destiny has another side, man. You know what I'm saying? And we're entering into that time as we speak. You know, you're going to get back everything that you did. The Lord is an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. As a matter of fact, real quick. Reminds me of that Chuck Norris movie, Eye for an Eye. You know, that's Esau feels that way. Matthew 5 and 38, it says, ye have heard that it hath been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And it was said in the Old Testament in the law. Yeah. So there it is right there. Matthew 5 and 35. The Lord is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, because that goes back to the law. You know, the Old Testament, man. For you Christians, man. They're preaching the same thing in the New Testament that was being preached in the Old Testament, because that's what they had. They had the Old Testament, bro. They are the New Testament. So they weren't teaching the New Testament. They are the New Testament. We're learning from the New Testament. They are the New Testament, man. So what were they learning from? The Old Testament. That's what they were preaching. You for you Christians that don't understand, man. You dummies. You know? But anyway, yeah, they're going to pay. They're going to receive for the wrong if they've done it. And these devils, and even Jake tries to mock the Lord, and he said he's not mocked, man. So let's get that one real quick. In Galatians, the 6th chapter. This is Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7. And it reads, be not deceived. The Most High is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So you sowed it. Now you're going to reap it, man. You sowed that. Now you got to reap it. You know, these things got to come back to you, bro. You know, and there's nothing you can do about it. As a matter of fact, let's go to your Apocrypha real quick. I don't know exactly where it is. I'm going to find it real quick. Salakia. Sirach. Ecclesiasticus Sirach, chapter 4 and verse 20 something. Hold on one sec. Oh, I knew it was going to do that. Wow, look at Satan, man. Every time, man. Got to be. Are you serious, bro? But Satan, bro. Every time I do a lesson, every time I get ready to touch, something pops up for me to, and it'll click on whatever I'm like, wow, really, bro? I'm not that good to time it like that. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus Sirach, chapter 4, and it's the 27. Sirach, hold on one sec. I believe it's chapter 4. It might be Second Ezra. Hold on one sec. Sirach, be patient. Bear with me. 4 and 20. Let's see. Yep. Here we go. Second Ezra 4 and 29. And it reads, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. Yeah, the evil has been sown. As a matter of fact, like if we teach this, I want to like on the highways and byways, we have the different signs where we can show the different, the slave ships and the different things that happened to Jake. So, but those things were sown, man. Slavery was sown, bro. All these things that you did, these evils, they're sown. But it says, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good, which we know that's talking about the kingdom of heaven. So this place has to be turned upside down, which is that's in effect as we speak. That's being done as we speak. The mouth of the prophets is turning this place upside down. All the lies and deceptions and everything is being exposed in these times, and this place is being turned upside down. But ultimately, it's going to be turned upside down when Yahushua returns and this place gets destroyed. That's the passing away. This place has to pass away in order for the kingdom of heaven to come, man. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this has to go away. But those things were sown is the point, because we just read that. What a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So you're going to reap the actions of your doings, man. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to go away, ride off into the sunset. You're going to be in the kingdom of heaven, but you're not going to be there on the same level as the Israelites, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, here's your fate right here. This is Revelation chapter 13. I'll start at verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth, and that's not talking about your ears on your side of your head. It's talking about your spiritual ear. Everybody has ears. So why would the Lord say, if a man have an ear? Come on, man. Your spiritual ear, because everybody doesn't have it. It is given unto you, and to them it's not given. So verse 10, here's the point. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And who are the saints? The Israelites, man. Beginning and starting with the elect in these times, man, because two parts got to be cut off and die. The Lord is dealing with the remnant, the elect, the remnant that's returning in these times, pursuant to Isaiah the 10th chapter and verse 20. So he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Shall go into captivity, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a promise from the Lord. That's a warning and a promise. That's why he's an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Matthew the 5th chapter, I believe it was. So you do these things, you're going to receive them back. That's actually what which Christians get it wrong when it's even quoted wrong. And I'm going to quote it like them. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Yeah, you led us into slavery. So obviously you wanted that done to yourself, man. Because that's what's coming, man. Revelation 13:10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword, and that's what they do to Jake all day, every day. Hands up, hands down, handcuffed, hands behind your back, hands in front of you, walking towards you, running away, land on the ground with your hands up. It don't matter, bro. In the back seat or in your house, on your couch, whatever. They will bust in and kill your ass. So, he that killeth with the sword, which is their weaponry, the gun, modern day gun, must be. The Lord said you must be killed with the sword. So these things are going to happen to you. Same thing you're doing is going to come back on you and happen to you. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. And that patience represents suffering. So we're suffering through all this madness until the Lord returns to take us out of this madness. But we have that faith, patience, suffering, and the faith, the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen, man. Hebrews 11:1. So we have that faith, man, because we're the saints, man. We believe. But you're going to receive of these things. And you're going to receive of them double. So let's jump over to, stay in Revelation, jump over to the 18th chapter, and we're going to jump down to verse 6. This Revelations 18:6. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And her works were terrible, man. Derby's dose and the devil's punch bowl, and all these things that these devils were doing. Buck breaking, and which we're not going to do those things. We're not going to do wickedness. Everything we're going to do is going to be in righteousness, but you're going to receive that double portion in righteousness, man. So it says, Revelation 18:6, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup, which that cup represents slavery, destruction, death, double straits, nothing good, desolation. The cup represents nothing good. You don't want that cup, but you about to receive it. We received it. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. So you're going to get that cup double, man. You know, and you've had us for 500 plus years, and you're going into slavery for 1,000, man. That's that double portion, man. You know. So as I said, we didn't want the cup, but we had to drink of it. So let's get that real quick. In Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 12. It's Jeremiah 49 and 12, and it reads, For thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And who is that talking about? The Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians of Negro descent. We drank of that cup. We got that destruction. We got that desolation. We received that death, that slavery, that double straits and all that the desolation and everything that comes in that cup, man. We received that. The trembling. You know what I'm saying? We received that, bro. Now it's your turn, bro. Lamentations, in which we're going to get that too. But it says, Jeremiah 49 and 12, For thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Well, the Lord, a lot of our people, Jake 2/3, they believe that this nigga should not be punished. And I think he believes that too. He going to get away scot-free, unscathed, untouched. Not happening. The Lord is going to give you the answer. Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. So it's a surety. You're going to drink of the cup, bro. There's nothing you can do. So you can try to hide and sweep under the rug, toss it behind you, whatever. That's what you devils do. But this is written. The Lord says in Isaiah 55 and 11 that his word is not going to come back to him void, but it's going to accomplish the thing whereto he sent it, man. So it's guaranteed. You can take that to the bank. It's going to be cashed, you know. And that ass going to be grass. So it is what it is. Like I said, Lamentations. Let's get that real quick. It's Lamentations chapter 4. And we're going to drop down to verse, I believe, 21. Lamentations 4 and 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz, which in these times that Uz represents America, man. So you Edomites, man. That's who it's taught. That's who it's referring to. And you can't get around this, bro. He says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup, there it is, that cup, also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked, because that happened to the ones who wasn't supposed to drink. We just read that in Jeremiah 49 and 12, which are the Israelites. So now it's your turn. I'll go ahead and read 22. Verse 22, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. That's the Israelites. Zion, to Zion in the Hebrew, you know, a monument, a thing remembered. And the Lord said he's going to remember his people. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. See, this is our last one. This is our last captivity bill. No more captivities after this. Now it's your turn. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. And the scriptures say, if we'd have read up in Revelations 18, that the sins of these devils have stacked into the heavens, man. Reached up to the heavens, man. That's a lot of sins, you know. So this devil has a lot to pay for. He's done a lot of dang dirty work, man, you know, and he's going to pay for those dirty works. So real quick, let's get a couple more. This is Psalms, because they're going to pay, man. They got to pay for this, man. This is Psalms 137 and verse 7. It's King David, man. And King David said, Psalms 137 and 7, remember, O Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, the children of Edom. King David, a man after the Most High's own heart, his right-hand man. He told King David telling the Lord to remember these Edomites, man. You know what I'm saying? Do you think the Lord is not going to listen to his man? Oh, he's going to listen. We're reading it. Remember, O Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, burn it, destroy it, even to the foundation thereof. They wanted it to not even be recognizable of where it used to be, you know, like these devils in the world that shave. They want that close, clean cut shave that lifts up and cuts it, and you can't even tell that they ever had a hair on their face, man. That's how they want the foundation thereof, man. They didn't want it to even be known where it was, man. Wow. That's hatred, man. But check it. Verse 8, O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed. So see how it went from Edom to daughter of Babylon? Edom and Babylon are synonymous, man. You Edomites, this is modern day Babylon and you're Edom. So it says, O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. So you're going to get it back. And we just read in Revelations 18:6, it's going to be a double portion, double the cup that she filled to her double. We just read that, man. So you're going to get it same thing back except double. Verse 9, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone, because y'all did that to our little ones, you know, hanging the northern kingdom, women upside down, cutting their pregnant women and cutting their babies out. And the babies hit the floor and they stomp the little heads out, throwing them up and letting them land on the babies up and letting them land on the edge of the swords. You know what I'm saying? That devil Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill, the Trail of Tears, Israelite woman just had a baby and the baby's crying. He made her walk when she needed to be resting. Little baby crying because he's hungry. And he go grab them by the ankles and bash their little heads against the tree trunk, smashing their little heads open, man. This is what they were doing to our people, man. You know, so they going to pay for those things, man. You know, they going to pay for those things, man. So like it says, happy, verse 9, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Y'all did our little ones. Cross Southern Kingdom with the alligator bait. You know what I'm saying? Those things happened, man. Y'all did those things. You can't sweep it under the rug, you know. And they're going to happen to you, and they're going to happen double, man. You know what I'm saying? So let's get one more. Yeah, y'all got to pay, man. We're going to stay in Psalms. We're going to get 147, 149, Salakia. Psalms 149, and we're going to start at verse 7. This is Psalms 149, verse 7. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. The vengeance of the Lord is coming out, man, and them punishments about to happen. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. So all the elites, begin to start with the elites and you know, Trump and all of them, man, you know, these nobles and yeah, man, they all going into chains, man. We're reading it right here, bro. These are not our words, man. You know, these are the words of the Holy Bible, the words of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, whom you ignorantly call God, in Jebus, you know. Verse 9, to execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. You know, in that judgment we already read, Revelations 13:10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. You're going into slavery, bro. It is what it is. It's written, bro. So these are not my words, it's words of the Lord, the Holy Bible, you know. So, yeah, Trump, you go ahead and change the Smithsonian and do all that and focus on the good times of America all you want. But what you have to look forward to are nothing but bad times for 1,000 years, you know. And then after that, of course, Obadiah, the first chapter, you're going to get obliterated and exterminated out of the earth. You know what I'm saying? The whole house of Esau for stubble, burnt up in a big ass bonfire. That's what you got coming, man. You know, so live it up and do your thing. Keep lying and deceiving and doing all the things you wicked devils do and sweeping things under the rug and act like it didn't happen, like you're not going to pay for it, but you are, you know, and that's what you have coming. So with that, hopefully this was edifying to the hopeful elect, giving all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Baharakah Kodash, double honors to the apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of the great millstone, and peace and salutations and blessings to the house of David, the Bayath Shal Dawadah Shalom.